Matt's off-road recovery began as a straightforward effort to document real vehicle recoveries in southern Utah. What started as practical footage of off-road assistance gradually developed into a full-time digital operation with a growing audience. The channel's early appeal came from its unscripted nature and focus on real-world problem-solving rather than staged scenarios. The channel is operated by Matt Wetzel, a Utah-based recovery operator from Hurricane. Before the channel gained widespread attention, he ran a towing and recovery business serving remote areas where conventional roadside services often could not operate. That professional background shaped the channel's emphasis on technique, safety, and specialized equipment. Unlike many automotive channels, Matt's off-road recovery focuses almost exclusively on off-road extractions rather than vehicle reviews or modifications. Episodes typically involve vehicles stuck in sand, mud, snow. Matt's off-road recovery began as a practical extension of real recovery work rather than a planned media project. The channel was created to document actual off-road vehicle extractions in southern Utah, an area known for remote terrain where standard roadside services are often ineffective. Early videos focused on showing how recoveries were performed, the equipment involved, and the challenges posed by sand, rock, snow, and steep trails. At the start, the content was simple and utilitarian. Cameras were used to record recoveries as they happened, without scripting or narration designed for entertainment. The primary purpose was documentation, not audience growth. Over time, viewers responded to the straightforward presentation and the technical nature of the work, leading to consistent viewership increases. As the audience expanded, the channel evolved in production quality while maintaining its original focus. Recoveries remained the core subject, but videos became longer and more detailed, offering viewers a clearer understanding of off-road recovery methods and decision-making in difficult conditions. The channel's growth was gradual, driven by regular uploads and the repeatable nature of real recovery work, rather than viral trends or staged scenarios. The channel is led by Matt Wetzel, a recovery operator based in Hurricane, Utah. Before gaining public recognition through online video, Wetzel worked full-time in towing and vehicle recovery, primarily assisting drivers in remote areas where traditional roadside services were limited or unavailable. His work frequently involved off-highway vehicles, recreational drivers, and travelers unfamiliar with desert and mountain terrain. Wetzel's professional experience shaped the practical approach seen in the channel's content. Recoveries are presented from the perspective of a working operator rather than an entertainer, with emphasis placed on vehicle assessment, equipment selection, and safe extraction methods. This background distinguishes the channel from automotive content focused on performance or customization. Operating in southern Utah required familiarity with a wide range of recovery environments, including deep sand, slick rock, snow-covered roads, and narrow trails. That experience informed both the techniques used on camera and the types of recoveries featured. Over time, this consistent, experience-driven approach contributed to the channel's credibility among viewers interested in off-road travel and recovery operations. Matt's off-road recovery differentiates itself by concentrating almost entirely on off-road vehicle recovery rather than general automotive content. The videos document real extractions involving vehicles stranded in sand dunes, rocky trails, riverbeds, snow-covered roads, and remote desert terrain. This narrow focus sets clear expectations for viewers and establishes the channel's subject matter from episode to episode. The recoveries typically involve recreational drivers, tourists, or off-road enthusiasts who misjudge terrain conditions or vehicle capabilities. Each situation requires on-site evaluation, careful planning, and the use of specialized recovery equipment. The content emphasizes methodical problem-solving, including anchor selection, winch placement, and vehicle positioning, rather than speed or spectacle. Another defining element is the absence of scripted outcomes. Recoveries unfold based on environmental conditions and mechanical limitations, which introduces natural variability without artificial framing. This approach allows viewers to observe both successful techniques and adjustments made when initial plans do not work as expected. By documenting recovery work as it occurs, the channel provides insight into a specialized service rarely shown in detail. That consistency and technical emphasis have become central to its identity and long-term audience retention. Over time, Matt's Off-Road Recovery experienced steady audience growth driven by consistent uploads and a clearly defined subject focus. As viewership increased, individual videos began reaching large audiences, with many episodes accumulating millions of views. The channel's growth reflected sustained interest rather than short-term spikes tied to isolated viral moments. Subscriber expansion occurred alongside improvements in video length and presentation, though the core content remained centered on real recovery operations. The predictable format allowed viewers to understand what to expect from each upload, contributing to repeat viewership. This reliability played a significant role in building a long-term audience. The channel also benefited from platform recommendations, as off-road recovery content appealed to a broad range of viewers beyond dedicated automotive enthusiasts. Casual viewers drawn in by outdoor or problem-solving content often remain due to the educational value of the recoveries. Over time, this widened the channel's reach beyond regional interest. Despite its growth, the channel retained a production style that emphasized fieldwork rather than studio-based commentary. This consistency helped maintain credibility as the audience expanded and reinforced its position as a prominent example of specialized service-based content on the platform. As Matt's Off-Road Recovery expanded, additional team members became recurring on-screen participants. These individuals assisted with recoveries, vehicle operation, equipment setup, and logistics during complex extractions. Their presence reflected the collaborative nature of off-road recovery work rather than a single operator model. Team members often filled specialized roles depending on the situation. Some focused on winch operation and rigging, while others handled vehicle positioning, communication with stranded drivers, or safety oversight. This division of responsibility allowed recoveries to be conducted more efficiently and provided viewers with a clearer picture of how coordinated recovery operations function in practice. On-screen participation also added continuity across episodes. Regular appearances helped viewers recognize the workflow of the team and understand how recoveries were approached in different environments. While individual personalities were visible, the content remained centered on the task rather than personal narratives. As the channel matured, the inclusion of multiple team members reinforced its identity as a working recovery operation. The structure mirrored real-world towing and recovery crews, where teamwork and coordination are necessary for safe and effective outcomes in challenging terrain. As Matt's Off-Road Recovery continued to grow, the composition of its on-screen team changed. Several individuals who appeared regularly during earlier periods of the channel later stopped participating in videos. These changes occurred gradually and reflected shifts common in growing businesses rather than abrupt or singular events. Some former contributors moved on to pursue independent projects or different professional opportunities. Others transitioned away from on-camera roles as the channel's production demands increased. The channel did not formally document most of these departures, and explanations were generally limited or indirect, consistent with its focus on operational content rather than personnel matters. Despite changes in familiar faces, the format of the videos remained consistent. Recoveries continued to be documented in the same observational style, with attention centered on the work rather than the individuals performing it. New team members occasionally appeared, maintaining the collaborative structure necessary for complex recovery operations. These transitions highlighted the operational reality of a growing recovery service that also functions as a media platform. While personnel evolved over time, the channel's core subject matter and approach remained stable, allowing continuity in content despite shifts in who appeared on screen. A defining feature of Matt's off-road recovery is its use of purpose-built recovery vehicles designed for challenging terrain. Rather than relying on standard tow trucks, the channel features modified off-road rigs capable of accessing locations unreachable by conventional equipment. These vehicles are selected and configured based on the demands of sand, rock, snow, and uneven trails. Among the most recognizable builds are lightweight recovery vehicles optimized for maneuverability and traction, as well as heavier units designed for high-capacity pulls. Equipment commonly shown includes winches, synthetic and steel recovery lines, pulleys, soft shackles, and ground anchors. The selection of tools varies depending on vehicle weight, terrain conditions, and available anchor points. The channel documents not only successful recoveries, but also the decision-making process behind equipment choice. Viewers see how load calculations, line angles, and anchor stability influence each operation. This emphasis on preparation and adjustment reflects real-world recovery practices rather than simplified demonstrations. By repeatedly showcasing these specialized vehicles and tools in active use, the channel provides a practical view of off-road recovery logistics. The equipment is presented as functional necessities rather than promotional features, reinforcing the channel's technical and service-oriented focus. In addition to its presence on YouTube, Matt's Off-Road Recovery is connected to an active recovery and towing business operating in southern Utah. The channel is not a standalone media project, but an extension of real recovery services provided in the region. Many of the recoveries shown on video originate from actual service calls, rather than requests created for content purposes. The business handles off-road extractions, vehicle relocations, and assistance in areas where standard towing services are limited. This operational foundation influences how recoveries are approached on camera, with priority placed on safety, efficiency, and damage prevention. The work shown reflects the same procedures used when cameras are not present. Over time, the channel's visibility contributed to expanded business activity, including merchandise sales and organized events related to off-road recovery and vehicle culture. These additions developed alongside rather than in place of recovery operations. The core service model remained focused on field work. By maintaining active recovery operations while producing online content, the organization operates at the intersection of service work and media. This dual structure differentiates the channel from purely entertainment-based automotive platforms and reinforces its practical orientation. In early 2022, Matt Wetzel, the operator of Matt's Off-Road Recovery, was involved in a legal case related to insurance reimbursement claims. The matter was investigated by state authorities following concerns raised about whether certain claims complied with coverage rules. According to publicly reported court records, Wetzel entered a plea that resolved the case without a trial. The issue centered on reimbursement requests that investigators determined contained inaccuracies under the applicable insurance guidelines. The case did not involve allegations related to the content of the YouTube channel or the performance of recovery work itself. As part of the resolution, Wetzel was placed on probation and ordered to repay funds connected to the claims, along with additional financial penalties. The matter was handled through the court system and concluded under the terms of the plea agreement. No further charges related to the case were reported following the resolution. After the legal process concluded, Matt's Off-Road Recovery continued operating without interruption. The channel remained active, and recovery operations proceeded in the same format as before, with no documented changes to its content focus or business structure. Following the resolution of the legal matter, Matt's Off-Road Recovery continued to operate as an active recovery service and content platform. New videos were released on a regular schedule, maintaining the same focus on real-world off-road vehicle extractions. The format, pacing, and subject matter of the channel remained consistent with earlier periods. The organization continued serving stranded drivers in remote areas of southern Utah while documenting recoveries for online distribution. There was no publicly reported interruption to business operations or a shift away from recovery-focused content. The channel's emphasis on technical execution and field-based problem-solving remained intact. As production continued, the channel retained its established identity rather than transitioning toward commentary or lifestyle-driven material. Vehicle recoveries remained the central feature, with limited emphasis on personal branding or unrelated topics. This consistency reinforced the channel's positioning as a service-oriented operation rather than an entertainment brand. At present, Matt's Off-Road Recovery remains active and visible within the off-road and recovery community. Its ongoing output reflects the same operational approach that defined its early growth, supported by continued audience interest and the sustained demand for off-road recovery services in the region. In summary, Matt's Off-Road Recovery represents a model built on documented service work rather than constructed media narratives. Its growth reflects sustained viewer interest in practical problem-solving, technical execution, and real-world recovery operations conducted in challenging environments. The channel's content has remained narrowly focused, emphasizing fieldwork, equipment use, and coordinated team effort rather than personality-driven storytelling. Despite operational growth and increased visibility, the underlying structure of the organization has remained consistent with its origins as a recovery service. Business activities, personnel changes, and expanded projects have occurred within the framework of ongoing off-road assistance, rather than replacing it. The channel has continued to document recoveries as they occur, maintaining continuity in format and approach. As a result, Matt's Off-Road Recovery occupies a distinct position within online automotive, content defined by its service-based foundation, technical credibility, and continued emphasis on real recovery work over entertainment-driven production.